are offering to represent firefighters now for free if they're disciplined for booing Attorney General Letitia James. New York City lawmakers are now saying that Letitia James is trying to burn down the justice system. I mean, can you believe this, guys? Where do you draw the line? I mean, what happened to freedom of speech? Are firefighters not allowed to speak their minds? I mean, the to the point where you're going to hunt down firefighters who put their lives on the line every single night to protect us. I mean, who responds to the 911 calls when a home is on fire, or someone's trapped inside of a car, or there's an awful car wreck, right? It's the firefighters every single night. And I don't know if you happen to know any firefighters personally. I'm pretty sure a lot of you do, or have come in contact with firefighters, or used firefighters, needed a firefighter to assist you or save your life. But you would think that there would be a certain level of respect for New York City firefighters and the New York City Fire Department. But apparently, there is no limit to what Letitia James is willing to go through. Now, the FDNY, they're now, and you guys likely know about this already, the FDNY is working to identify those members who gave Letitia James an icy welcome. But what you may not know is what I'm going to share with you guys in just a second in this video. All I ask before we get into it is that you drop a quick like for the video. Totally helps out the channel, and I want to thank you so much for sharing these videos on YouTube. Excuse me. Thank you for sharing these videos on Facebook, and for sharing this video on Twitter or X. So, and I see you guys in the comments: Lulu, Andrea Clark, Will King. Thank you so much, guys. Now, here's the thing: a lot of things came out today, right? You got Judge Scott McAfee throwing out 6 charges for the Fani Willis, Nathan Wade, Donald Trump election interference trial today. That was a big, huge win for Donald Trump. And this was not the kind of news that Fani Willis was looking to hear, but she got the news anyway. And what a lot of people are not talking about is the fact that, yeah, I think there's like 41 charges against Donald Trump in this case. But what a lot of people are not talking about is the simple fact that the judge pretty much gave a quick update. He said, hey, we're dropping 6 charges for various reasons, and more updates are to come. So we could very well see, additional charges being dropped against former President Donald Trump. We could see the whole case thrown out theoretically. In addition to that, we have yet to hear how Judge McAfee is going to address Fani Willis, Nathan Wade with regard to perjury charges. Will there be felony charges assigned or charged against Fani Willis or Nathan Wade, or anyone who was on the trial who may have committed perjury? Just comment down below if you believe that Fani Willis lied under oath and should be charged with perjury. Let me know what you guys are thinking about that one, in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. But here we have the FDNY is now working to identify those members who basically booed Letitia James during the ceremonious event. And here's the interesting thing. Here's what really kind of like set everything off. In this memo, it was urging members to come forward so we don't have to hunt them down, saying that there was a clear video of the entire incident. Well, guys, apparently the union is representing the firefighters, and they have fired back at the investigation. In fact, the firefighters are no longer the only ones being hunted down. And in addition to that, the union is not the only law representation body that is ready to have the backs of these firefighters. And I'm going to drop the intel on that one in just a second. For those of you guys who didn't hear what went down in New York City when Letitia James basically took stage at this FDNY promotional ceremony, this is exactly what happened. Take a listen.
Thank you very much, Chief. I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Attorney General Letitia James.
Oh, come on, we're in a house of God. First, simmer down. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for getting it out of your system. First, I want to recognize Reverend.
Whoa. Whoa. I feel like we're in like kindergarten. Simmer down, settle down, children, settle down, kids. I mean, next thing you know, what's she gonna come out with a paddle and start spanking people on the hand for those who are misbehaving? I mean, like what's really going on with this here? I mean, like, so basically everyone is outraged over this reaction from Attorney General Letitia James. Ultimately, memos have gone out. It's a witch hunt, and this is what Uniformed Firefighter Associated President Andrew Ansbro said, right? So he went on to say members were told that they would be hunted down. It would be better for them if they came forward and identified themselves. It would be better for them. I don't think that anyone wants that to happen. If chiefs want to come forward and say that they have failed to supervise, they can start the line. So basically, the union for the firefighters is absolutely standing up for firefighters, which I'm very happy to see. And I think that this is only the beginning. A lot of people are not happy with what is going on in New York City right now. And we're seeing more and more folks stand up. We're seeing the firefighters stand up. We're seeing truckers boycotting New York. Granted, you know, it's not some massive shutdown of New York and no products are being delivered to New York City. It's not anything like that. But there are truckers that are standing their ground and they're saying, and let me know if you guys support the truckers who have decided to boycott, because it is a collective effort to make your voices heard in order to force change to take place. So you're seeing truckers stand up for themselves and for what they believe in. You're seeing the firefighters stand up for themselves. And this is, guys, these were firefighters that were not even in uniform. They were like they were not on duty. They were in, you know, non-uniformed apparel, and they're under attack. The union president went on to say that Letitia James is a high-profile guest. I think the department body wanted to show her that they were serious about what happened. But people have been booed in the past, including the commissioner herself, and nothing ever came of that. This message came from the union president. So I got to ask you guys, what's really going on? If the commissioner herself got booed and nothing ever came of this, why is Letitia James, why are they making such a big deal out of these firefighters exercising their First Amendment? Why are they making such a big deal when Letitia James gets booed? But they didn't do anything when the commissioner herself was booed. Why is there a double standard? Why is Letitia James being placed above the commissioner in this particular regard? I want to hear from you guys. Is Letitia James better than everyone else? Is she higher than everyone else in terms of social status or, from a civil servant perspective? I mean, like, this doesn't make any sense at all. And I think this is part of why a lot of people are very, very upset with what's going on here. So yeah. Now, the union is not the only group that's looking to step in and have the back of these firefighters. So get this, a pair of Staten Island lawyers offered earlier this week on Tuesday to represent any Big Apple firefighter for free if they get jammed up for booing State Attorney General Letitia James at last week's ruckus promotion ceremony. Lawyers Mark Fonte and Louis Gellermino, not really sure how to pronounce his last name, said that the firefighters had the right to voice their support for Donald Trump and to lambaste James, who has been prosecuting him, as FDNY Commissioner Lauren Kavanaugh threatens to discipline the jeering bravest. Quote, if you are being hunted down by FDNY brass for exercising your freedom of speech, contact our office at once. This is coming from the attorneys. We have independent attorneys who have literally said, we got to draw the line here. These are New Yorkers. You guys, I'm pretty sure many of you guys remember 9/11. And some of you who are watching this show were either present when the Twin Towers had gone down, or were in the vicinity of New York, or were in some way affected by 9/11. Who were the first responders to that awful, life-changing, country-changing event, right? If you remember, it was the firefighters. The firefighters were the first in the buildings, and they were the last to leave, and many of them didn't even come out, okay? In addition to that, if you guys remember, the camaraderie in New York City was unbelievable. People came together. They helped people out when they were in need. And I personally think that this is kind of like the heart of New Yorkers. You know, New Yorkers have a tendency to just kind of, be straight and to the point, maybe even rude at times. But at the end of the day, when somebody needs help, typically New Yorkers come together. And this is exactly what I'm talking about here. Here you have New York attorneys offering their services for free to support and represent firefighters who may not necessarily have the legal backing to stand up for their own rights, which clearly are being challenged right now. So I just want to say big ups to these two attorneys who are, just amazing examples of New York citizens standing up for what they believe, and standing up for those who may not necessarily have a voice of their own, at least from a legal perspective. Let's see. He says, quote, we always answer the call. We stand ready to assist New York's bravest. The firm already sued the city over its COVID mandates and the location of some migrant shelters. So these guys, these are not some rookie attorneys. They've already sued New York City for these mandates, for certain migrant shelters. This time, they're now rushing to the defense of firefighters as a cluster of smoke eaters booed and jeered Letitia James during Thursday's ceremony. The disgruntled group voiced support for former President Donald Trump, who was hit with a $454 million judgment last month in a civil suit filed by Letitia James's office. Keep in mind, this $454 million judgment last month is now, I don't know if you guys realize this, but I was reading up, I was actually kind of reading up on this particular situation and actually doing the math. Based on the 9% interest rate, Donald Trump's judgment is actually increasing by like $1 million every 9 days or so. So to date, I'm pretty sure he owes like maybe $456 million. It's an astronomical number, and it just keeps on getting worse. But yeah, so that's where we are. But it doesn't end there, because we also have New York lawmakers saying that Letitia James is trying to burn down the justice system. Now, I mean, you got to draw the line somewhere. Like, did anyone get hurt? Did anyone lose any money with Donald Trump? Possibly, allegedly inflating his asset values, so they say, in order to get loans from the banks. As far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, as far as I've read consistently, all of the banks have gotten all of their money back and then some. All of the interest was paid. So the banks made money off of Trump. No one got hurt. Banks made money. And based on what we've seen with Trump being able to get, $92 million in a bond from E. Jean Carroll for the E. Jean Carroll case, clearly banks, lenders are ready, willing, and able to lend to Donald Trump. So Donald Trump's credit worthiness hasn't been tarnished. The banks issue their own appraisals appraisers to go on site to validate the values, multiple appraisers, mind you. Whenever real estate is used as collateral or a mortgage is obtained, whether it's commercial real estate or residential real estate, multifamily real estate, depending upon the value of the property, at least one appraiser, typically issued by the bank, is going to go out there and evaluate the property and determine the property's value. In this case, multiple appraisers have validated and assessed the value of Donald Trump's properties. So the banks knew what they were getting themselves into, and the banks aren't even the ones complaining. Out of the blue, Letitia James said, hey, I know that there's no case outstanding, but you know what? Let's see if we can put something together and come after Donald Trump. That's clearly what it looks like. Because if no one complained, then why was the case generated to begin with? There were no claims against him. So anyway, so here you have Representative Nicole Maliotakis of New York claiming that Attorney General Letitia James is trying to burn down the justice system, citing the legal battles that former President Donald Trump is now facing with Letitia James. The New York Congresswoman was asked about a recent appearance that James had made at a New York Fire Department promotion ceremony where the firefighters in attendance booed James and chanted Trump's name during her speech. Now, about this recent protest, Maliotakis joked that the firefighters booing James, despite any potential blowback, are why they are called New York's bravest. So, I'll say this: the New York Fire Department, the New York firefighters, have my full support. Comment down below if you guys support New York firefighters. You can just type in FDNY if you support them. That'd be fine enough. Quote, they're not afraid to speak their mind either. And look, Letitia James is trying to burn down our justice system, and the firefighters are calling her out on it. End quote. So this came from Maliotakis. And she went on to say that they see what she's doing, the injustice she's conducted against President Trump, and they don't like it. So what, are you just mad because people don't support what you've decided to do? It's unbelievable, guys. It is absolutely unbelievable. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it right there, guys. I want to go ahead and quickly jump in the comments and see what you guys are saying, because you guys always have some very interesting comments forming. So who do we have in here? We got Bob, we got Strange Dude 56, Daisy Duke 12, Lulu, Pasquale, Lulu. Wow, you guys are all got Chuck 555, Blue Mountain Cowgirl, Glenn Peterson. So all right, so it looks like a lot of you guys are in support of the FDNY, the Fire Department Firefighters of New York City. They're amazing guys, amazing guys. I'm from New York myself. I met tons of them. I always say hello to them whenever I see them. The firefighters are literally some of the bravest people that we have and that we encounter on a regular basis. Yeah, so Rihanna Potts says her boots are getting too big. How does your country deal with people like her? Well, that's a very good question, but I believe it definitely starts with people standing up for themselves, standing up for their rights, and it absolutely starts there, and people coming together. Will King, yeah, some people are concerned about eminent domain property being taken away next. I mean, you already heard from Letitia James saying how she looks at 40 Wall Street on a regular basis, which is one of Trump's flagship properties in New York City, and how she wants to basically liquidate his assets and take the building away from him to pay for this judgment. So it's wild, guys. It is absolutely wild. So, but anyway, if you haven't already, definitely drop a like for the video. I want to thank you so much for sharing this video on Facebook, on Twitter, and I'll see you guys on the next one. You guys be safe and have a great night.